Ja, hallo, wir haben gerade schon drüber gesprochen. Also natürlich men welcome hier. Es geht hier nicht darum, nur zu Frauen zu sprechen. Im Gegenteil. Ich hätte mir jetzt gewünscht, die ganze Unternehmerschaft hier sitzen zu haben, mit denen ich eigentlich sprechen möchte. Und weil wir aber so viele Englischsprechende haben, wollte ich jetzt mal einmal kurz switchen. I'm going to talk in English from now on, if that's okay for everyone. Because the slides are in German, but I know there are many people speaking English here better than German. And that's why I'm switching now. So my talk is about there are still possibilities lying on the road for the companies how to get more women into tech. And as I got from many questions today, it still seems to be a problem. Being a woman trying to get into the tech business, it isn't that easy as it should be when you know about the numbers. So, first of all, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Anette Davids. I'm a founder of myself. I founded only 3 years ago, so it might seem funny that I'm mid-50 and I founded my own business, but I worked in corporate software development for 30 years, and then I decided that I had to do something to multiplicate and to inspire young people and other women, and that's why I founded my business. I'm also a certified diversity manager, and I'm working at Women in Tech as a team lead for corporations and funding. So if you are in any kind of a company role where you interact with Vereine like Women in Tech, then it's me to address. Yeah, so as we already, I think all of us know those numbers by heart now, but I took a special sheet on the facts for this. So it shows that the problem of having so few women in tech is not homogeneously over the different sizes of companies. So in larger companies, it is it is more than 50% of the companies having more women in tech. But in the smaller, as we say, KMU in Germany, it is much more of a problem. And that's the ones we like to focus on in the further talk. Because for all of the companies, the larger and the smaller ones, everyone knows those numbers. There are 150,000 roles in tech still open. And I know that some months or years ago, somebody said, well, if we got all the women who are staying at home and got them to work, we wouldn't have this problem. And that's why I think it's a really good idea for many women to think about that. But it's also very important to address the companies on the right, in the right way, so that they can react to this. Because I think they know they need the people, but they don't know how to do the right things so that women especially are welcomed there. Just a short excursus to the leaky pipeline. I think last year I spoke only on this leaky pipeline. The leaky pipeline is describing where in the life of a woman she gets to fall out of tech, as I would say. And the first two stations, what the Hacker School was also talking about, and where I also focus on, is reaching the young girls and reaching them at school age. But that's not what I'm talking about today. Today I'm focusing on the second part. This is the work life and the break in work life while parenting, and the getting back into the job later on. So we're talking about recruiting, and we're talking about retaining women in tech. And for the companies, there are different ways where you can start. What could you do as a company to get more women into tech? So one is the intro, so getting into the company. It's about recruiting, it's about onboarding, and it's also about reskilling. I will come to that later on. And then it's about getting them not to fall out. So it's about the culture of the company, it's about career moves you can offer. And then I think it's also important to have a broader context. It's not only the culture, it's also more than that. So it's giving special possibilities for compatibility of life, of family life and work life. And it's also about having diversity as a whole context. And as I always know, when I talk to companies, they always jump on the first one and say, oh, what can I do? What can I do in recruiting? I would like to have more women in tech. What can I do? And I always say, well, let's start from the bottom, because we have to look into your company first, because you can start doing a big marketing campaign and nobody, and especially not the women, will believe you. So the first step to look into is what about compatibility possibilities and what about diversity in the company. So about compatibility, I think we had some talks on that today, and it's so very important. A company has to provide very flexible options. That's good for everyone. It's not only good for the women, it's good for everyone. But flexibility locally and in room, in space, in time, and especially in the mindset of your leadership party. So you have to be, this flexibility means that I always say, I don't like to have those eyes rolling if a man says he would like to go on to a parental leave. That's the mindset. You have to change it. It has to be normal for everyone to be in a family situation which needs flexibility. So it could be elderly parents, it could be children, it could be anything. Flexibility first. Remote work and any kind of reaction to that is good for anyone in your company, and especially for the women who are in those special needs, especially here in Germany. So I always have this picture of building a better world together is together. And diversity is also part of this. I think it's the same with diversity. If you do something which is good for all of your employees, it's also good for the women you want to attract. So being a diverse company and valuing the diversity in all of the diversity areas is also, the one part is the women, but the other part is being for people in color or age diversity, also very important in tech. So all of these components, if you have an eye on that, and if you focus on that, and if you leave your track of having an all-white male leadership board, then you will also attract the women in tech so that they feel welcomed there and that they see their options there. And that's where we come to culture and careers. Women use, I got an info from a Swiss questioning which was done this year for International Women's Day, and they said women really value cultures of diversity and inclusion. They like participating in leadership and transparent leadership, and they like to have an active promotion. So women are not the ones to push in everywhere, but they love to be participating. And career is something, well, that's why I always take the men in, because we need those male allies. As it is at the moment in Germany, we have leadership boards, especially in the KMUs, which are full of white men over 50. And the problem is we need some of them to hold the stirrup, exactly. Hold the stirrup for the women so that we leave these traces of this Thomas cycle we have, so that they don't hire young men again, that they look for diversity. That's what we need. And when we have done all this homework, then I tell them, then recruiting is easy, because then you have marketing material with real pictures. You don't need any stock photos anymore. You can just take real pictures from your company and you can show how diverse you are. And then I always say, from the inside to the outside, you can show your company and you can attract the women. Then if you have this mindset, you will do your recruitment, your website and anything in a diverse way, and it will not be frightening women anymore to say, well, I don't belong there. And what is also essential is, if you have this mindset, you might do some special onboarding and some mentoring and take care of these people who come in, and at the beginning, they are the minority and they need a little bit of safety in there. So maybe providing a women's network or having mentors for your young women, and especially for the side career steppers, offer them opportunities to do apprenticeship in your company and take them by the hand. And I know examples from women in tech, from companies taking those side career steppers and mentoring them for half a year and saying, the best employees we ever got. So it is a chance for the companies. They just have to take it. And reskilling is the one option which is inside of the company, one of the wonderful ways of having a look to the women which are already in your company, maybe in very different roles, and never thought about going into tech. Maybe offer them some kind of a compass course, we say, from Start Steps, which is our partner, to have a look into different tech roles, and maybe there's one which attracts those women, and then support them having a boot camp, and they are already employees in your company, so you have everything you need to integrate them into your own tech departments. And that is also one way, and it's maybe easier to get some new marketing assistant and having a new tech role who is already part of the company. So this can be very interesting reskilling. And as we know, there are bunches of areas, so it's worth looking around whether you might be more in software development or more in cloud computing or more in cybersecurity. And as we all know, cybersecurity is also very needed, so we need it all. Women in Tech is, that's why I am here. Women in Tech is an association, in Germany a Verein. And we have a mission, and our mission is that technology is created equally by all genders. And this is what we are working for, why we are mentoring women, and why you can come to us. We are here on the ITCS, on the backside of the stage. You can come and join us for anything you like to talk to us about. We do events, we do talks, we are completely digitally organized, so we are all over the DACH area. Just come and join us. Thank you. That's it. W22.
Thank you. So, perfect. Yes, you can ask your questions now.
Thank you, Anette. I got a question from a hiring perspective. What are the skills we should advise our managers to look for, especially when they're hiring, for instance, female developers, other than the coding? What are feminine skills that they should bring or that would bring more diversity and help the company in creating more diverse products as well?
You know, I talked about this morning with somebody, and I said, the German word is Pragmatismus, so I think it's pragmatism maybe in English as well, I'm not sure, but it is something very important. Women also the most women I know, especially those who are in tech roles or are looking for tech roles, are very focused on solutions and are very pragmatical, so they can... that's something I think you can easily find that out. So they're not complicated, normally, the ones I know. And they're eager to learn. I think the most important skill nowadays is not what you already know, but what you are able to learn. And that is something which is, well, women are highly multifunctional and are highly able to learn new things. And that's the skills you should focus on. And in recruiting, it's often they put the skills in an order, and women are known to read from the top, and they are known to apply only if they fulfill 80%. So if you start with some male connotated skills and they read, I have to be strong in something, and very technical. If you put the technical skills first, then the women will read 1, 2 out. So you have to, if you really want to support them and have them, you have to focus on the skills of the ability to learn lifelong, the integration into the team, communication with the users and the customers, everything which is good also in women and which should be good in men doing that job, to stress that more and put it in front so that women say, okay, I could that. What are the technical skills? Oh, I only know half of them. And then always offer the opportunity, you can learn the rest on the job. I had a company telling me, I showed them their own recruiting, their job offer. And then I said, well, look at that. What would you say as a man? And he looked at it and he said, you know what? I didn't fulfill half of it when I was a junior. And I said, okay, and you want some woman to apply to that? She won't. And they always say, why don't the woman apply? So that's the answer to that.
Any other questions? Ihr könnt auch auf Deutsch fragen, wenn
genau,
ihr
ihr dürft mich gerne auch auf Deutsch fragen.
Okay, so I'm also a coach, and I coach women and help them succeed in the workplace because I come from a high-tech world, and I've been so many times the only woman at the negotiation table. So I've learned the hard way how to actually deal with all sorts of questions. So what would your advice be here? How should women prepare for these types of interviews?
Whoa. Take a coach like you are. Well, I think that's difficult because it is a matter of self-confidence. And if you are in a minority, self-confidence is lower anyway. So it's difficult to answer on that. Build your self-confidence maybe by preparing, having something done which is asked for. So all the side steppers I asked me today, I said, well, do some projects in GitHub, have something to show which you really did yourself, because having something done you did yourself builds confidence. And men tend to have more confidence without having anything done than women do. So know you are a woman and put yourself into this confidence by having something done which you can rely on, which you did beforehand, which we did calm and quiet, so that if you are asked about it, like in any kind of examination, you have your knowledge in your basement. I think that's important because, yeah. And the other thing is, if I used to get questions, well, they are forbidden, but you still get them. If you're a woman in the age who can be in family, be prepared to those around the corner questions, what you would do with your kids, and depending on the vice versa, have an answer which is either more or less frech, as I would say. So I always said, when they asked me, where did you put your children? I said, oh, I think I hung them up the ceiling in the cellar, and when I come home, they will still be there. What kind of a question? I always say, what kind of a question? You would never ask a man that. So leave me alone with that. I have a husband who did 50-50 with me on my care job and my work job. And that's what I would like to have as normality in Germany. So that it would be the normal mindset to have family as a social and cultural, and for the companies, a task to be done, but not only by the women.
Keine weiteren Fragen? Ah, doch.
Yeah, first of all, thank you so much for the presentation. It answered many of my questions. And secondly, recently I was, having a gathering with other women leaders, and they were complaining that how many times we jump into a meeting and there are all men, and they already have started the discussions, and we feel like left off. So I think we can add or emphasize on the culture and also ethic of work that can nurture, the environment in a way that women can feel more comfortable.
Yes, I agree totally that is important. I come from company cultures where I was the only woman in a team, and I think it is important to work also on those small little things which are in the culture which might let women feel uncomfortable. You have to work on this with the teams. I think there's a lot of soft skill work to be done, because many men are not aware of that problem, but women who are used to being the one in the room know what I mean. And what I also forgot, one very, very important thing, just in case any company is listening, one question I got today so often was, why is it so important if you come from somewhere abroad, you have tech skills already on your set, why is it so important to speak German B2 or more? And I know from companies who are eagerly trying to get the men who are in the middle leadership boards, they are like over 50 white male mostly, and they try to get them to talk English. And now you have to know, in Germany, some crazy people always think languages is more for girls and tech is more for boys. So I'm a girl. I did languages when I was young. I did tech later on, and I always think programming languages are languages. For me, that's all the same. But it is difficult to get those men to talking English so much that they feel confident in having employees who don't speak their own language. That is for first. So it is so important for them to open up their mindsets. And I especially mean the KMUs. The big companies, no problem. Everybody in Microsoft speaks English. But it's about the smaller companies. It is so important if you want to get tech talents from everywhere. And the second one is your customer area, sure, might be the one which is also the problem. So to the general mindset to opening up the tech world to English is very important. And for the women who face these declinements, I can only say, well, keep it up. I'm pushing the companies to get there so that it's no problem. Learn German is okay, but it is important to turn this switch in Germany because we're getting cut off of the rest of the world otherwise.
Ja, vielleicht auch einfach mal einen dicken Applaus. Und ich hätte jetzt noch eine Frage.
Ja.
Wie war denn dein Werdegang, also your career?
My career was quite simple. So I'm the eldest daughter of 4. We are 4 girls at home, and my father was an engineer. So engineering was a typical profession in my family. But my mother was totally not digital, so she's analog, as she always says. And I first liked languages, but then I switched to mathematics somewhere about 8th grade. So it's not always from the beginning. You're a techie from the beginning. No, I was 8th grade when I started loving mathematics. And I never thought of computers at all. I went studying mathematics with chemistry. And then at the end of my studies, so it was 1990, I decided I have to work somewhere. And I didn't want to work as a teacher. So I started on software development when I was 25. And from then on, I just did software development, and I love it. I still love it, and I still do it part of my time because it is the most, I think it's like artwork. You can get sunk into it. You can really follow a goal. The rewarding is in the work itself because you get so much success while working. You have to have a lot of frustration tolerance, but you have to get success in the work. And that's what I love about this job. And I always, like the Inspirers has said, I like to inspire children doing the same. That's why I do courses for little girls so that they start creating games and see that programming is easy to be done for girls.
Thank you.